All right, let's talk about skills. We've already touched on self-learning, right? And when we get into practice and building discipline, you see that's where these training games come in. We've covered self-learning skills already. Self-learning is the king skill, the most crucial one. This king skill, as we call it, is all about your intellect. But there's another really important skill right alongside it: managing your emotions. If you took Right View 2, you'll remember the EQ section, emotional quotient. Now there are tons of ways to manage your emotions, but for my money, mindfulness meditation, especially Satipatthana meditation, is hands down the best. I've been through so many emotion management courses and tried out all sorts of methods over the years, and honestly, Vipassana meditation is just the most effective, truly amazing technique. Nothing else even comes close. So, think of it this way. Self-learning helps you grow as a person and go deeper intellectually, while emotional management gives you the power to handle your feelings and start looking inward, exploring your own mind. That's what this skill is all about. Got it? Now, self-discipline skills. I showed you some examples earlier. Kids playing those games, they gradually build up an iron will, a rock-solid discipline. They become tough and resilient. And when they step out into the real world, they're way better set up for success. So self-learning is more about smarts, emotional management is about ethics, and self-discipline builds your grit. And finally, when someone has these three core qualities down, are they ready to be a boss when they get out there? Are they naturally cut out for leadership roles at that point? Yeah, pretty much. But to really nail being a leader, there's one more skill you absolutely need: team building. Honestly, when you boil it down, a good life really only needs 4 key skills, not a million different ones. 4 is plenty. Everything else is just extra. These 4 are the foundation, more than enough to get you where you need to go. For anyone in education thinking about opening centers, whether in a small town or a big city, just focus on teaching even one of these 4 skills exceptionally well, and you'll build a really well-known, even famous education company in your area. Think about those military-style summer camps. What's their main focus? Self-discipline, right? And with just that one skill as their core offering, they've created some huge companies. And they charge an arm and a leg for their programs. 2 or 3 weeks, and parents are paying tens of thousands of dollars, right? Just to send their kid to a military camp, that's it. So, these 4 core skills, if you can master just one and teach it well, your education business will be in great shape, okay? I'm laying this out for those of you in education so you know where to put your energy. Focus on the essentials, not the fluff and extras, the bells and whistles. The extras can be fun and add some spice, but you gotta know what's really important, what the core of it is. Here's a quick look at discipline training in a martial arts gym. Just take a sec to picture it. Elementary school kids from 1st grade up are all training in martial arts gyms, you know. Actually, 4-year-olds can start martial arts and do great. No need to wait till they're 5 or 6. Elementary school kids 1st grade and older are all in these gyms, you see. Seriously, 4-year-olds can handle martial arts. It's not just for the older ones. And this is teaching eagle-style swimming. See that? Discipline training, and the kids are loving it, aren't they? This kind of military-style skill training is actually really fun. Later in life, when they hit bumps in the road, they'll just laugh it off. But if we don't train them like this, when things get tough, they'll fall apart and cry. Earlier, a parent was telling me that their kid got a C in English and came home bawling. Because they haven't been trained to be tough like this, they react to challenges by crying. We tend to think positive stuff is always good, but sometimes the negative things are actually really valuable. Challenges help people grow. Positive reinforcement motivates us, sure, but if we never face anything negative, we won't really mature. Life throws negativity at us constantly, so why run from it? Look it straight in the eye, step right into it, and even laugh at it. That's why, at West Point, their first step is what? They intentionally put students under a ton of psychological pressure. They basically terrorize them. West Point's mission is to find every way possible to kick students out. The student's mission, on the flip side, is to find every way to stay enrolled. All the teachers and supervisors at West Point are highly trained to constantly challenge and push students, to try and trip them up and get them to fail over those 4 years. Imagine this. 2 a.m., a supervisor walks through the dorm and sees a cadet asleep, maybe looking a little restless, like they're having a bad dream. They wake him up and ask, "Who was Tran Hongjiao?" If the cadet can't answer, it goes on their record. This cadet isn't doing his homework. They tell him to get out to the hallway, grab a book, and start studying on his own. 3 strikes like that in a year, and you're out. The next night, 2 a.m. again, they wake him up and ask, "Who was Napoleon? Why did he lose the battle?" If he can't answer, another strike. 3 strikes, and you're gone. And get this, the answers to these questions aren't in the regular coursework. They're in the special military library for students to find and learn themselves. They don't teach it directly. Cadets have to learn independently. So, students who make it into West Point develop incredible self-learning skills. They have to learn by any means necessary to be ready for anything they're asked. If they can't answer, they get a strike, and 3 strikes is expulsion. Basically, the supervisors' and teachers' jobs beyond teaching include actively trying to weed students out. The students in turn are doing everything they can to stay in. That's the dynamic, and this system produces leaders almost exclusively. This shows you that training leaders is a whole different ballgame than raising factory farmed chickens. If you baby your kids too much, they might end up like factory farmed chickens, even if they get straight A's. Who becomes a leader? Free-range chickens become leaders, not factory farmed chickens. No matter how many degrees you have, you could still end up working for a free-range chicken type. Even a free-range chicken who barely finished high school could be your boss. So that's willpower training. A skills-based approach is mostly about building that grit. Skills focused on martial arts or military training are especially good for developing willpower, and this is ethics training. Juk School uses these 5 methods. First, making promises, taking vows, like the commitments I asked you to write down yesterday. Go ahead and write them out, then try focusing on just one promise to start. Don't try to do too many at once. Even one is a great start. Try sticking with it for 3 to 6 months, and you'll see your character and ethical strength grow. So, go for it. Just commit to it. The simplest promise could be, "I won't lie, I'll always be honest." Try working with that. You won't stop lying completely overnight, but you'll find yourself lying less and less, gradually cutting back. That's progress. teaching about cause and effect. This builds both your mind and your ethics. Teaching about great figures. This inspires students across the board. Discipline, focus, and wisdom, not just ethics. But a common thread with great people is their strong moral compass. Doing good deeds, regularly volunteering and giving back, and lastly, practicing mindfulness meditation, specifically Satipatthana meditation. Just these 5 techniques are what we use at our school. We haven't fully maxed out any single technique yet. Each one is applied partially, but using all 5 together, we see really positive growth in our students, significant improvement. And if we were to really go all in on these methods, this school might become even more ethically focused than a temple. Think about it. When you visit a temple, consider how consistently they actually practice these principles. Often, even they don't fully implement all of them. Right? Expanding to 8 methods adds these areas. Self-reflection, being able to spot your own mistakes. Insight, in the business world, this is often called 360-degree feedback, and harmony. Harmony means if you mess up, your teammates will point it out instead of you just relying on your own self-reflection, which can sometimes take a while. Here, you see people in America learning meditation. This is the military doing meditation. Even the military uses these techniques to boost mental well-being, and mental well-being is really about your inner spirit. And this is in England, 370 schools, believe it or not. Students in England study subjects like math, history, and English, but hundreds of schools across the country are adding a new subject to the mix: mindfulness practice. Mindfulness, or Chan Niyam, that's Satipatthana meditation. And you know, England is a Christian country, Anglican. Anglicanism is basically Catholicism, just not under the Vatican's control. The whole country is largely Christian, and yet they're teaching Buddhist mindfulness meditation. Why? Because they see the value and effectiveness of it. We in our culture sometimes get hung up on religious labels. They're less concerned with that. Universities in England are even adding happiness courses to their curriculum. These happiness courses are basically mindfulness meditation. And in Australia, schools are increasingly bringing meditation into their programs. And Australia also has a big Christian population. Looking at this trend, I predict that in the next 20 years, meditation will become totally mainstream, woven into every part of life. Meditation centers will be as common as yoga studios. Every community center, every gym will probably have a meditation space sooner or later. Those who are forward-thinking and jump in early will be ahead of the curve, while those who are slow to adapt will miss out on the best opportunities. The slow buffalo gets the muddy water, as they say. It's your choice. And in 20 years, there's gonna be a boom of self-proclaimed meditation gurus. A ton of meditation gurus. Someone will take a few courses at some center, then print up business cards calling themselves a meditation master, teaching meditation. A flood of meditation gurus, just like with NLP now, a proliferation of NLP masters. Master usually means a master's degree, years of study, but these folks take a 3 to 4 day course and call themselves a master. Can you believe it? I'm really skeptical of that kind of thing, very doubtful. Meditation could go the same route. Down the road, some of you might take a 10 to 20 day meditation retreat somewhere and get a certificate, and then call yourselves meditation masters. Be really careful, super cautious. Watch out for overstating your qualifications. Even Google now offers a Search Inside Yourself certification, which is kind of like that. You might even find carrying a Search Inside Yourself certificate becomes more impressive than being called a meditation master, even though it's just based on one book, right? That's Search Inside Yourself. Of course, it's a great book. You should read it. It's excellent. For learning emotional management, the book Search Inside Yourself is fantastic. It's called Tim Kiem Ben Trong Chin Ban, Search Inside Yourself. It's a Vietnamese edition, everyone. The title is in English, but it's all in Vietnamese inside, and it teaches you everything. Search inside yourself before you search for things outside. And when you read it, it's full of cool illustrations, see? And if you want to become a level 5 leader, a true leadership level 5, you have to learn meditation. Because what's the deal with a level 4 leader? A genius with thousands of helpers. That's a level 4 leader. They can be pretty bossy, dictatorial. And what's a level 5 leader? Determined as can be, but also incredibly humble. Extreme humility. You can't get there without learning meditation. Humility means we have to dial down our ego to live in a way that shrinks the self so we can be like the ocean, lower than all the rivers. That's not easy at all.